Honestly, should I give this away or not? Like, it's so soft. All that. I mean, my coworker, I'm not gonna go over names just kind of cause, gave me this bear. Should I give it away? Should I not? I honestly don't know. I don't know. Let's see it down in the comments. Do you guys want a bear like this? I might give it away to somebody. I might donate it to charity. I don't know. But my coworker gave this to me, so I intend to keep it for a little bit. Whatever. And I just dropped it on the floor. I am such a fucking train wreck. Actually, I'm not even going to edit this video either. I'm just going to leave it like this. One dude was, during one of those couple of weeks that I stay off, that I go online every so often, generally try to keep up to date with social medias, just see what people are thinking and doing, let's say, in the world and in the fandom, and just see where people's interests are, generally speaking. So, and one guy's like, "Oh, hey, I've noticed that you haven't posted in a while." And yeah, I mean, there are some times where I just honestly don't feel like posting random posts in the middle of Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever other social media platform I'm on. Gets kind of annoying. So, in general rule of thumb is I just kind of post whatever I'm thinking at the moment, I guess. In terms of that, I also mentioned that one reason too why I fell behind with some of the other minor work that I've been doing in terms of songwriting and making videos was I every so often I'll sleep on my shoulder, on my right shoulder, this shoulder. And for those of you who are new to this channel, as well as pretty much everyone, I used to play high school football in high school several years ago. And I tore my shoulder, some of the minor tendons in my shoulder back in football during one of the games. I also did that. So someone said, "Hey, why don't you go over a video about how you tore your shoulder?" And I said, "Okay." So for playing at least football in the American style, like actual like football, American football, there is a position called the defensive line and the offensive line. I played a year and a half of offensive line, and then I played like 2 years of defensive line. So I understand both positions pretty well. And so basically what happened was during what actually happened was there are such things as called a 4-4 defense from a high school football perspective. So a 4-4 defense means that there's four linemen in the front on the line of scrimmage, and then there's four backers, and then there's four backers, and then a free safety. There is different styles of defense. There's either a 4-4 or what's called a 3-4. A 3-4 means there is 3 people in front and 4 people in the back, and then it's like a safety, and then they have another safety. So they have 2 free safeties in exchange for that extra player. So what happens, and the idea behind that is to have more people in the backfield. So in terms of a 4-4 defense, because of where you are next to each other, you're lined up next to each other, as well as your inner and your outer guys are a lot closer together. And the idea is to have the guy run into the idea is to contain it on the inside and have them pass the ball. So it's a different strategy that our high school runs. So we were lined up in a 4-4 defense, and the offense So the offense, so there's 4 guys on the offensive line of scrimmage. There's generally your guy who hikes the ball, and then 2 guys on the other side, and then 2 more guys. Generally speaking, generally it's like 4 people, and then usually like a wide receiver and stuff will line up on the end and maybe do like a block or something, or block the tight end coming in or whatever. So what's going on is basically in this particular play, the offensive lineman that I was on the other side with decides to chop block me. Now, for people that don't understand what a chop block is, you basically just dive at their feet on the offensive line. Now, in terms of a defense, a move, it's pretty easy to get around. The thing was, on this particular, I've faced chop blocks many of times in the past. The reason why there's a lot of rules in the NFL and the college level for chop blocks and restrictions of them is because of how dangerous they can be in a wet condition. Now the condition, because this happened one of the first weeks in November. And this time of year, at least in Chicago, we have cold nights and semi-decent warm days. So it goes thaw, freeze, thaw, freeze. The problem is the ground under a certain point, maybe just a couple inches, maybe an inch or so into the ground, stays frozen now. So it becomes a skating rink. Now think, if you dive at them and you try to move your foot over, your foot over, you're gonna slide. It's the moment that you take your wide stance, and say if this is your feet, and you take that wide step, you're gonna be up here, and it's just gonna slide. So he decided to chop block me there, and I fell on top of him, like how that's really supposed to work. The problem was, he did this chop block during a double team play, which is the dumbest idea as an offensive lineman you can make, because on a chop block, on a double team, means that the guy, you're gonna fall down, okay, block him, the other guy coming in slips, at least I'm in my condition, hits his helmet on my shoulder and pushes it all the way back, and it snapped some of the tendons in my shoulder during this play. Maybe only 2 seconds, 3 seconds tops. And I mean, I've had football injuries and stuff. I mean, this one's just the one that kind of irritates me. But yeah, I have MRI scans, and I talked with the staff, the medical staff that we have at our high school, and our athletic trainers and other medical staff, because they always have them watching for the game. And they said you can either be out for the game, and remember, I still played this whole game with it. So this was like a couple hours after the game. I'm just like, man, my shoulder just is feeling numb and doesn't really feel right. So I go to them, and we're still kind of at the school and stuff. I'm showered up already, changed. I'm putting on my normal clothes. I'm just like, yeah, this doesn't feel right. And I go to the trainer. I'm just like, okay, they said it doesn't look like anything major is quote-unquote broken. But I said there's tons of other injuries that you can have that aren't broken. Like, I can still move it, and etc. So I said, fine, I'll deal with it and whatever. So the 2 weeks after it, we had 2 full practice weeks, and then we had the playoffs weeks, which we only got to like 3rd round, I think, in playoffs that year. I don't remember. But basically, I played 2 full weeks and like a half a week on a torn shoulder with contact practice and other games. And on the last week, I was basically running, clenching my arm because of how bad all of this muscles and tendons in the shoulder area were. So my message is basically I made the decision. I mean, I could have opted out. I could have had scans done sooner on it. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sacrifice my team, my well-being of the people that I'm around every single day for something that could be fine. I mean, yeah, it sucks now, whatever. I mean, but it's one of those things where you will never really be able to fully recover from it. And if you do want to go for surgery, it's going to cost like $20,000. Like literally $20,000 to $30,000. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I mean, the school's insurance would cover probably most of it, but at a point it's just like, I'm going to tough it out, deal with the end of the season, I'll deal with those consequences later, and that's what I'm doing. And I accept those responsibilities. But if you get a injury, whatever it might be, like me, I tore a couple of the minor tendons in my shoulder. It's good to have it checked out and then from there make your decisions, which is the number one reason why there are still some nights where it's just like I cannot sleep at all. I'll wake up at like 2 in the morning and just cannot go back to sleep because I'm tossing and turning trying to get the pain out of my shoulder. It is what it is. I mean, I can take aspirin, go to the doctor. I can easily get more painkillers if I wanted to, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, one night, one lack of sleep versus $20,000, which is is like 5 years worth of down payments, I guess. Like 5 years worth of saving, I guess, on something. So, I mean, yeah, I'll deal with the situation when it comes. But, you're dealing with that. And I do like that on the high school level, they entered a bunch of different rules about chop blocks. I heard in a couple of years after I left high school, as well as in the NFL. It's just because it's unnecessarily dangerous for minimum return. It requires no skill whatsoever to just dive at someone's feet. It really doesn't. And the only time it ever really works is when you're on a wet environment. Like we were on the B field, which is a dirt field. It's not a AstroTurf field. It's a dirt field. It's more susceptible to these weather changes. So I mean, you're just talking. You're gonna have bad conditions just for that, and it just puts you in a situation where it's not necessary. You're gonna risk me. You're gonna risk the guy who you're blocking. You're gonna risk yourself. Because, I mean, you're sliding on the ground, and, I mean, I could step on something, the back part of your leg, even, or fall on it and break your leg. You could break the other guy. It was a double team, which is the stupidest idea you could have done, because you probably almost broke his leg as well. His leg or something. It's just, you're risking so much for pretty much no return, and it requires no skill whatsoever to do it.